Lauren placed her hand on the gate. Tears quickly welled up, blurring her vision. "Lauren, is that you?" She quickly wiped her eyes, blinked, and saw Zoe. Zoe had been Lauren's neighbor back when she lived here. "Hi, Zoe, what are you doing here?" Her neighbor waved her hand dismissively. "Oh, don't ask. I got married, fulfilled the plan, and my feet won't be there anymore. Better to be at home, in peace and quiet. What about you? I heard you settled in well in the city, even getting ready to marry." Lauren sniffled, and the tears traced their paths down her cheeks again. Zoe sighed. "I get it. Don't worry. Your time to shine will come too. Everything seems dramatic until some time passes. You know what? I have to run to work, but I'll drop by in the evening. I have a tincture that's just amazing. We'll sit, talk, and maybe cry a little. We do love to cry." Hi there and welcome to Moonlit Stories channel. Thanks for tuning in. Sit back, relax, and enjoy today's story. I think you're really going to love it. "Come, Zoe, I feel so miserable. I don't want to live." Zoe even stomped her foot. "How can you say that? How old are you? 27? Tired of living all because of some nonsense? I have to go. My girls won't wait for me." "Wait for me. I'll be by around 9. I have a day off tomorrow, so we can sit longer." Zoe almost ran off. Despite being upset, Lauren noticed that her neighbor's haircut was fashionable, not at all country-like, and her sports suit was not cheap. She didn't want to think about all these oddities. Finally, Lauren pushed the gate open. Everything seemed so forgotten, although she had stopped coming here only 5 years ago, since she got a job at the firm with Austin. She had been so eager to build a career and make a name for herself, and she had set her mind on it. Studying hard for exams in the evenings, working during the day. And then Austin came along, so handsome, so charming, and at the same time firm and even harsh. Her heart couldn't resist. She forgot about caution, forgot about her dreams. Lauren fell in love. She was ready to give up everything just to be near Austin. She was ready to love his son, who was already 13. She had only seen Alex a couple of times. He studied somewhere, rarely came home, and didn't interact much. Lauren didn't try to force a friendly relationship with him, waiting for the right time. But the time never came, and everything just turned backward. And after 5 years, Lauren was standing where she had so desperately wanted to leave. Zoe appeared loudly, and Lauren smiled. She remembered Zoe had always been that way. Open, loud, sincere. "Why are you hiding here? Did you go outside? Don't tell me it's better at home. Staying indoors on a warm May evening is sacrilege. Come on, gather everything and let's go under the apple tree. The table's still there. Hasn't gone anywhere." Lauren felt like things were getting better. Maybe it wasn't all so bad. Maybe it was for the best. She didn't need that city. Austin? Yes, forgetting him would be very hard, maybe even impossible, but she would try. Her resentment toward Austin would help her. But Zoe's tincture turned out to be excellent. Within an hour, her neighbor was waving her arms and talking loudly. "I told him, no one has been born yet who would raise a hand against me. And he said, 'I'm your husband. You have to listen to me.' And I said, 'And you, listen to me?' Then he started flailing his little hands. Well, I explained everything to him right away. Then his mother called, told me to come wipe her son's broken nose. I packed my bag and came here. You wouldn't believe it. I even felt relieved, like I had come home." "Well, what happened with you?" Lauren sighed. "Oh, Zoe, it's unpleasant to remember. My Austin, well, he's very rich. Don't get me wrong, I don't care about money at all. If he were poor, I would still be with him. But not everyone accepted me well. His mother, although she didn't say anything, I could see she was dissatisfied. And his friends were somewhat cold. But I didn't pay attention. Especially since Austin supported me, he was always there for me. And when we filed the application, his family gathered. And his mother's very expensive necklace went missing. Zoe, they all blamed me. And Austin, he believed it. Believed, you understand? He asked me to return the necklace and explain why I did it. But I didn't take anything. It wouldn't even occur to me. In the end, he packed my things and told me to leave while he was still being kind. He drove me away, believed something that wasn't true. Lauren couldn't hold back and burst into tears, but Zoe was on guard. "Come on, don't cry. Why are we crying, huh? He accused you of stealing. Lauren stared at Zoe with wide, open eyes. Zoe, but I love him. Zoe sighed, then looked up at the scoum. Loving isn't fashionable these days, Lauren. Not fashionable at all. People have forgotten what it means to truly love. All right, stop crying. Let's think about what to do next. Lauren's tears immediately dried up. She hadn't even thought about what's next. What could there be next without Austin? Well, what are you looking at? You have to live somehow. Work. Or will you be full of memories of love? Oh, Zoe, I haven't thought about all of this. It was so bad. I guess I'll have to go back to the city and look for a job. Why do you keep going on about the city? What's so bad about here? Look around, it's beautiful. Work, Zoe. There hasn't been any work here for 10 years, maybe more. Zoe laughed. Oh, your information is very outdated, friend. We have a large farm now. Cows of some special breeds. Everything is clean, sterile. The men who take care of the cleanliness earn more than they ever did driving tractors. The work is pressing a button and laying some straw. And the milkmaids get paid. You can live on it with butter and sausage too. Lauren shook her head in disbelief. When did milkmaids ever get paid well? Zoe looked at her, offended. I'm a milkmaid too, and they didn't take me right away. I had to go through a trial period. And do you know what my salary is? Lauren shook her head negatively. Zoe leaned toward her ear, and her eyes grew enormous. If Zoe wasn't lying, she earned almost twice as much as Lauren did in the office. Really? Yes, really. Savely, our boss is a fair man. If he sees a person working and not slacking off, he always rewards them. And that's without bonuses. Lauren had been working on the farm for 6 months now. Not everything worked out right away, but now she knew every cow by name. And they knew her too. They seemed to recognize her. She was running to the farm now, even though it was after hours. Her favorite cow, Dawn, was about to give birth, and she was supposed to have twins. So Lauren ran to the farm every 2 hours. The guard was already grumbling. Lauren, I can't get any sleep with you around. At work, you have to work, Ivan Ivanovich. You have to work, but resting isn't harmful either. The guard grumbled, but he always went with Lauren. But this time, Ivan was sound asleep. She didn't wake him. She knew how to open the latch from the outside. And she really wanted to get warm. The weather outside was unusually cold for October. The rain even seemed mixed with snow, or so it seemed, penetrating to the bone. And her clothes didn't help. Lauren pulled the gate and saw something. Someone was sitting by the farm fence. She even thought it was some man who didn't make it home after payday. She sighed. Need to help or he'll freeze. She closed the gate and went to the silhouette. Hey, why are you sitting there? Get up. You'll freeze, Sim. The person didn't smell of alcohol. Lauren bent down. It's not a man. In front of her, hunched over, sat a teenager. Eyes closed, chin and nose wrapped in a scarf. Cold. Lauren understood. The boy had used his last bit of strength to say that word. She turned back to the farm. It wasn't much warmer there with Ivan, and he probably didn't have tea or anything like that. There was only one option, to try to take this foundling home. Besides, Lauren's house was nearby. Come on, get up. Let's go. Get up. I say. She struggled to lift the boy. He barely moved his legs. The road from the farm to the house had never seemed so long to her. She laid the boy on the couch near the stove. She took off his thin, wet jacket and boots. She took a large blanket from the stove and wrapped the stranger in it. The boy smiled with his eyes closed. All right, warm up. I'll quickly run to the farm and be back. I'll make you some tea, and then we'll decide what to do next. Lauren returned quickly. The teenager was sleeping. Even the blanket had slipped a bit from his face. She gently placed her hand on his forehead. He didn't feel too hot, but such hypothermia would not go without a trace. The boy stirred. One hand slipped off the couch and hung down. The fingers relaxed. Lauren saw that the boy was clutching a necklace in his fist. She remembered it very well. She approached the couch. She moved the scarf and sweater collar aside. She gasped, Paul. The boy opened his eyes and quickly sat up. He looked at his hand. He placed the necklace on the floor between them. Then he looked Lauren in the eyes. Did you recognize me? I did, but I don't understand anything. What does all this mean? He sniffled. Lauren, I stole it. Why? So everyone would think it was you. Lauren was stunned. Why, I never did anything bad to you. Grandma said you only needed money, and I would be in the way, and you would convince Dad to send me away. I rarely saw Dad anyway. He was always working. Even when Mom died, Dad didn't have time for me. He would lock himself in his office and sit there alone, and I was alone too. I wanted so much to hug him and say we were together. Paul started crying. Lauren hugged him. But why are you here now? Why? Does your dad know you're here? No, he doesn't know. He doesn't know anything. I think he didn't even notice my absence. After you left, he became like this. He fought with everyone, didn't talk to anyone, yelled at everyone, and in the evenings, he locked himself in his office and drank. Help him. Lauren bitterly smiled. How can I help him if he doesn't want to see me? He drove me away himself. I understand, but it's all because of me. I'll do something. Lauren looked at him closely. The boy's eyes were feverishly bright. It seemed he was saying something he didn't even understand. She placed her hand on his forehead. That's right, you're burning up. Lie down, let me cover you. We'll take some medicine now, and everything will be fine. Help him. Please help. All right, Paul, just calm down. Here, drink this. In about 20 minutes, Paul fell asleep. Lauren saw sweat droplets appear on his forehead, which meant the medicine was working. She resolutely took the phone. Now she'll give Austin a piece of her mind. All right, he didn't care about her, but how could he be like this with his son? Austin answered the phone immediately. He listened to everything she said in silence and then hung up just as silently. Lauren wanted to throw the phone away. He could have at least reacted to the fact that his son was alive and well. Or did he really not notice his disappearance? If she understood correctly, Paul had been looking for her for 2 days, wandering between neighboring villages. She checked the boy again. He was sleeping peacefully. She turned off the light and lay down herself. They were woken up by a knock on the door. That's the kind of knock when there's no hope left for anything. Lauren jumped up and looked out the window. She thought there was a fire, but everything was as usual. She opened the door wide. Of course, who else could be so rude? Austin raised an eyebrow. And hello to you. Lauren turned around silently and wanted to leave, but then stopped. You know, I thought I wouldn't say anything to you, but I will. What you did to me is one thing, but forgetting about your son's existence is worse. You only see yourself and your desires in this life, and you don't care what happens to the people around you. You're selfish. Now she turned and went to the room. Austin followed her. He didn't try to say anything because he wasn't interested, or so Lauren thought. Paul was already sitting in bed. Austin approached him and hugged him. You scared me. Sorry, Dad. I needed to apologize to Lauren. For what? For this. The boy unclenched his hand, still holding that cursed necklace. I was afraid you wanted to get rid of me. The son started crying. Austin, pale as a sheet, didn't look at Lauren. He looked at his son. She said quietly, I think neither Paul nor Grandma are to blame for this situation. Austin jumped up and looked at Lauren, but she indifferently looked away. Lauren, this can't be true. Look, it's there again. Lauren peeked through the gate. Indeed, Austin's car was parked in front of her house again. At first, he tried to apologize, to reconcile, but after Lauren sent him away several times, he just came and stood by the house. He stayed until late at night, left, and returned the next day. Now that's what I call love. Lauren quickly turned to her friend. Love? What are you talking about, Zoe? Zoe waved her hand dismissively. Oh, Lauren, love is like that. I'm planning to leave. My guy writes, calls, swears that he'll never again, that he'll carry me on his hands. He's not used to someone standing up to him. Now he not only loves, but respects me too. What about you? Me. Lauren, I'm just a woman who misses him. Lauren stopped by the car. Austin, who had been leaning against the hood, straightened up. Why are you making a scene? Let's go inside. She could feel Austin's intense gaze on her back. He caught up with her on the porch. Lauren, if you can forget all this, I'll prove to you that I'm not like that. I'll prove that you didn't make a mistake by forgiving me. She happily wiped away a tear.